morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today we need to take a look at the best cards, the top 10 cards from Black Bolt and White Flare. A set which isn't introducing many new decks per se, but is giving us a lot of new toys to play with. As we start here, my usual reminder, YouTube has changed their algorithm now, so comments and likes are much more important, and views don't really count without them, so please make sure you drop a comment and a like. That would mean the world. So what have we got then here in terms of good cards? Well, let's start off at number 10 with a card that maybe shouldn't be there, but this is my list and I love it. It's Zoroark. I am absolutely over the top in love with Zoroark here. I think Zoroark is absolutely phenomenal. It's got an attack for free colorless energy that just copies one of the attacks of your opponent's active Pokemon. It does what the old Zoroark did back in Black and White. And here's the thing. This isn't going to be good in every matchup or against every Pokemon. But against Pokemon with a good attack that isn't conditional on discarding a certain kind of energy, having a certain number of bench Pokemon, whatever, there is always going to be potential for this to be very good. Don't forget we've got Ignition Energy in the set, which we'll look at in a moment, which is free colorless energy on an evolution Pokemon and it falls off at the end of your turn. But that's fine because you've already used it. And basically, there is so much potential here for this to go absolutely nuts. We've even got single darkness energy, 30 damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So you can punish them for benching or punish them for having a good attack. I love Zoroark. It's my personal favorite card in the set, but I think it's fair to put it in at number 10. In at number 9, we've got Eelektrik. Now, some of you are going to say I've got this too low, and there is a chance I've got this too low. I'm just putting that out there before we start. And the thing about Eelektrik is, it is literally a reprint of the old Eelektrik. Although weirdly, you can't use the old Eelektrik. That was already confirmed in Japan, boo, hiss, etc. It just accelerates lightning energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. It's awesome. It's going to see probably a whole bunch of play. I actually really like 1 to 9, and then I've kind of chucked Zoroark in as a bit of a passion project. So you can argue this to be higher, absolutely. This is going to work with stuff like Zekrom, which we'll get to in a minute. It's going to make stuff like Iron Hands a lot more fun. But we have had this kind of ability multiple times in the past. Sometimes it ends up being really good and center of the metagame, and sometimes it doesn't. Gonna have to wait and see as to where exactly we fall down here, but the potential, at least based on what we've seen in the past, is huge. In at number 8, a card you can argue I've got too high is Tirtouga. This is my second favorite card in the set. Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that it was a stage 1 fossil, fossils are generally a lot harder to get into play, I'd probably be putting this much higher on my list. The thing is, what we got from Tirtouga is an attack for a single water energy that does 30 damage for each item card in your opponent's discard pile. Remember, nowadays, tool cards do not count as items. That's very, very important. And we had this before, and it wasn't Tirtouga, it was Garbodor. And it was such a ridiculously broken card that after one event where it took 75% of top 32 and 75% of top 8, everyone started building their decks differently to avoid it. I'm not saying Tirtouga is going to wreck the metagame and it is a fossil that's annoying. I absolutely am saying it's got a chance. Oh, and by the way, we've also got a Caracosta in the set, which doesn't take damage from anything that's got special energy attached, and also has much more HP, and then you can use Relicanth to just copy the attack of Tirtouga anyway. So look out for that little combo, would ya? That little combo could be very, very fun. Again, maybe I've got this too high, but I'm excited. In at number 7, we're doing a joint listing here for Reshiram and Zekrom. Now, for what it's worth, right now, Zekrom is proving to be the better of the two. Zekrom is seeing more play, more success. The number one deck in Japan right now from this double set is Zekrom. Now, it's not actually the number one deck in the game. Quite far down the list of best decks, but in terms of best deck that comes from Black Bolt and White Flare, this is it. This is the best one. They've both got an attack that does 130 damage base plus 50 more for each prize card your opponent has taken, and essentially the question becomes, do we have a better support network for Zekrom or Reshiram? Maybe it is Eelektrik coming back helping Zekrom. Maybe it's Embor coming back helping Reshiram. Either way, whoever gets the better support network here is going to end up being the better of these two cards. But they both have huge potential. In at number 6, we've got Brave Bangle. It's not a very exciting card, honestly, but it does extra damage. And you know the deal at this point, ladies and gentlemen. Doing extra damage is good. It really is as simple as that. We get to do extra damage. We like to do extra damage. It lets non-rulebox Pokemon do an extra 30 damage to Pokemon EXs. It's really good. It's extra damage. Extra damage is good. It's not a particularly exciting card, but it is a card which is going to win a bunch of games and get a bunch of KOs. Maybe that makes it more exciting. In at number 5, a card with near limitless potential, it's Genesect EX. And here's the thing about Genesect EX, right? The attack is fine, free energy, 150, takes 30 less next turn, meh. But we got the ability Metallic Signal that when you evolve lets you search for 2 evolution metal Pokemon. That's really, 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 really good. And it's going to be good in any Evolution Metal deck. Any Stage 1 or Stage 2 Metal deck from here until when this rotates out is instantly going to be much better with Genesect. Whether it's something we have now like Archaladon, or whether it's something which, to be fair, this is seeing play in Japan with Archaladon, obviously, or whether it's something we haven't even seen yet, this is going to have so much potential for the entire time that it's legal. In at number 4, I'm cheating a bit. I'm putting Prism Energy and Ignition Energy. Now, the conventional wisdom right now is that Prism Energy is going to just immediately slide into a bunch of decks. It's great. Ignition Energy has a lot of potential, but you never know if it's actually going to pay off. I'm putting them both here because I think they are very, very similar. They are special energy that helps specific decks. Prism Energy is actually just a reprint here. We've had Prism Energy previously, and it's just a special energy on a basic Pokemon that provides any kind of energy. And we've had a bunch of stuff like this in the past, but one of the big differences here is you can put this on a basic Pokemon, and it could be multiple energy. And that, I think, is the big difference here. Like, we've had Luminous Energy for a while now. The problem with Luminous Energy is, though, that you're really limited to 1, because if there's another special energy on, you don't get to double up. Well, here you do. We've then got your Ignition Energy, which is a similar kind of thing, but now we're helping out evolution decks. And it's free colorless energy as long as it's on an evolution Pokemon, which is absolutely fine by me. I've mentioned Zoroark, but there's going to be a million others. And that's the thing about these 2 energy cards. There's going to be a whole bunch of Pokemon that don't care. And there's going to be a whole bunch of Pokemon that do, and that's going to make a difference. In at number 3, I'm also cheating. We've got reprints of Air Balloon and Tool Scrapper. They are reprinted item/tool cards. I think we can deal with them together because they're both going to see a bunch of play. Tool Scrapper lets you discard 2 Pokemon tools attached to Pokemon. It's tool removal. And we really need tool removal because when we hit the last rotation, we lost Vacuum, we didn't have a way to get rid of tools using item cards anymore, which made tools significantly more powerful than they had been. This coming back is a big deal. Similarly with Air Balloon, it just reduces your retreat cost by 2. It's another card that isn't terribly exciting, but this instantly becomes the best retreating card we've got. It is going to see an absurd amount of play. And again, it's not a fancy card, but it is going to help massively. In at number 2, we've got Jellicent EX, which I'm putting as my best Pokemon in the set. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure that's fair, but that's the best I've got right now. Because the thing about Jellicent is, we've got a redonkulous ability, whereby as long as it's active, your opponent can't play items or tools. The attack is fine. The attack doesn't really matter. Because the whole point here is either you get this rolling and you're good to go, or you don't and it's irrelevant. As long as the attack is usable, and the attack here is usable, we are fine, ladies and gentlemen. We are fine. It is item lock, and it is back. And we do also have Frillish, which is single energy 20. During your opponent's next turn, they cannot play any items from their hand. Only items, incidentally. They can still play tools. But still, it means you can get this going turn 1, going second, rather than having to give your opponent a turn before you can get Jellicent up and rolling. Obviously, this fits very naturally into, say, a Gardevoir deck, because it's a Psychic type. But it doesn't necessarily need to be there. It's low enough energy, and it's so disruptive that you really could play this in a whole bunch of different ways. What does that make my number 1 card in the set? Hilda. And I don't really want my number 1 card in the set to be Hilda, if I'm honest with you. But I think it is, ladies and gentlemen. I think it is. So, sorry about that. But the reality is, this is a card which I expect to see a huge amount of play. It searches for an evolution Pokemon and an energy. Any energy, it could indeed be a special energy. And that's the thing here. You add that up together, and that is a very useful card. It's going to be like a 1 or a 2 of in a bunch of decks. It's not going to see, a 4 of. It's not going to be absolutely essential to a million different decks or any of that. It doesn't need to be. The reality is, it's just a very, very, very good card, which is going to help out a bunch of decks. And like a lot of the cards on this list, it's not a very flashy card, but it doesn't need to be a very flashy card. You add this all up together, and we've got something very, very interesting indeed. So there we go. There's your top 10 list. Now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me if there's cards you think have been unfairly left off. Tell me if there's cards you think need to be popped on. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And please remember, with the new YouTube algorithm, comments and likes are so much more important. So please do drop them if you've enjoyed the video. And shout out to our lovely Patreon supporter, Fawny Horvath, who's been a supporter on patreon.com/PTCG Radio for a little while now and seems to be a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.